Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. There is something very powerful happening in the world today, in my opinion. Older women are pushing back on aging stereotypes in a way that I've never experienced before. I started 60 and Me when I was 64, and I knew then that I was a little bit alone in the desert, sort of talking about older women having a place in the world, a relevance that was really uniquely beautiful. And I think the time has come now where you're just hearing more and more women saying, we're not going to fade into the background. We're not irrelevant. We're showing up. We're showing up boldly, bravely, and courageously in a world that, is very youth focused. I think we have to admit that the advertising world, the messaging is very youth focused. But older women are saying, no, we're going to to take our place. We're going to be relevant and visible in this beautiful world. And they're taking steps all the way from traveling solo, starting new businesses, mentoring younger people, and just making a statement that they have things to offer. It's not that we're not, we're trying to compete with the younger generation, or it's a unifying initiative in a way. It's just a statement that says, we're all in this together. No age has no relevance anymore. But all are capable of doing amazing things together. And I think it's the message that 60 and Me certainly has delivered over the years. And I know that if you're in this community and you come back regularly to chat with me, that you feel that way. Now, I'm going to talk about 10 what I consider powerful ways that women can demonstrate that these stereotypes are outdated, and very specific things that you can do in the world that just say, deliver the message. I mean, and as always, the message is never in the words; it's in the action. It's in the way that we act, the way that we engage with the world. So the first and maybe most obvious ones are the way that women are pushing back and showing that they're doing it is by traveling. Now, it may not be for everybody, and not everybody wants to travel, but I think a lot of women have in the time maybe after a divorce, or when they maybe their husbands have passed away, they think it's my time now, and I've always wanted to go to ... And we have talked about this a lot on 60 and Me because I love to travel. I'm always out there in the world, often on trains, short journeys. I don't always do international. And I just love being in the world, exploring, meeting new people, doing things that are in a way making a statement, I guess. I mean, not specifically to make a statement, but I can see it in the way people see me and understand I'm just doing things because I love them, not because I'm 76 and I just happen to be, an older person or more mature women, perhaps we should call ourselves, is that, we just love to travel. And whether a lot of women are doing solo travel, I mean, just literally picking up a suitcase and going. Some are doing pet sitting around the world. Some are doing working on different projects, using the skills that they have, developed over the years. So anyway, so travel can be everything from fun and just having a great time exploring to being more purposeful. And you get to choose. So, and a lot of women who don't want to travel solo are doing what I often do, and that is to travel in a group. And there's lots of group they've popped up everywhere now. Specifically women-only trips, if that's what you prefer, or others that are more, just for everyone. Now, I've done both, and for example, I did Road Scholar activities, which were mixed, men and women, and it was fantastic. Mostly solo people like me, but traveling in a group. But there were also couples and mothers and daughters and sons and mums. It was like a really interesting dynamic, but also just solo women's groups. And we do a few of them ourselves. And for example, we're doing a trip to Greece next year, 26. This is a good one, actually. This is going to be a really cool trip. We've got 25 people already signed up. It hasn't even been released yet to the general market because we got an early foot in the door. And it's basically a combination land tour and cruise. So anyway, if you're interested, let me know, but I can send you the details. But it's filling up. We only can do, I think 40 is our limit for our group. So we've got, a few more spaces that we can offer. But that's just an example of what we're doing. And it's not like a 60 and Me trip. It's just Margaret doing it, organizing a trip. Everyone does their own thing, makes their own bookings, their own tickets, and it's very fluid in that way. But travel, I've spent a lot of time on it, but it's one that gives you strength, joy, and purpose. And I think it's a huge way to show to the world hey, I'm over 60 and I'm out here traveling, and this stereotype that I'm going to sit at home and, whatever, is not true. I'm out in the world enjoying it. Another thing is mentoring. Now, I've talked about this in I'm doing like a series of little short videos as well, because I think that this is like a 1-minute conversation as well as a 10-minute conversation. But a lot of women are finding that younger people are coming to them now, especially given some of the situations around the world, United States and Canada and everywhere in Europe, is, this thing that we've been there. We've done this. We've actually, experienced political situations that were very scary and challenging. I mean, I could go over the ones that I went through in my life, and many of you that are watching can, tick off a few as well. But I think younger people can get some perspective and some kind of comfort from that. That we went through it. We went through. My mom, lived through the war in the bombing in London. And, that we've kind of moved on in a creative way, in a strong way, in a collaborative way. Working together to make this a little bit easier. So I think that mentoring younger people on that level, but also just knowledge in terms of all the things we've done in our lives, the kinds of projects and work that we've done. So I think that's a really important one too. I'm noticing my light's a little dim today. I'm going to try to make it a bit brighter, but I don't know if I can do that. It's the kind of the early morning and the sunlight hasn't properly come out in full bloom. But anyway, mentoring, second thing. Third thing is launching businesses. A lot of older women are doing their own businesses. They're starting coaching businesses, opening craft stores, selling their creative products, but also just doing a blog, just like 60 and Me. If you're doing something it's educational or inspirational, those are kind of the two big buckets, or, I guess entertaining is the other one. But, just starting new businesses is a definite statement to the world that, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to just sit here and not have the money that I want to do the travel or do whatever else. And, it's a statement to the world. It's a way you can show. Another way you can show you're pushing back on an aging stereotype is by saying, sorry, I'm going to stay healthy. I am going to prioritize my health. I'm going to make sure that I'm checking in with my doctor, that I'm doing regular tests, that I'm really, really doing things that need to be done to make me, healthy and well. And that's making that health a priority says in an indirect and a direct way that that you're taking your aging seriously, but you're not panicking about it. And now the light's coming, now the sunshine's coming. It's okay, I'll keep going. Another thing that you can do to state that you're pushing back on an aging stereotype is basically by taking a leadership role. Volunteer. Get involved in politics, get involved in the community activities. There's online groups on Facebook and other places, well, not just Facebook, all over the place, YouTube, even TikTok, where you can see what other people are doing in taking a leadership role, and how older women, I've noticed, are stepping up and saying, hey, I can do that. I can help you with that. I can give some suggestions. Nonprofits particularly love older women. If you're retired and you maybe haven't got that financial pressure, but you want to give and share, and we are being heard, truly. Now, another thing we can do to show that we are not, playing games with stereotypes is dressing the way you want. Put on the beads, put on the color. Hey, how about this hot pink top? It doesn't matter. I've gone from pale pink to hot pink, but it doesn't matter. Whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable with. Dress with flair, accessorize. Don't let them think, oh, that's older woman wearing taupe and black and gray. It doesn't matter what people think anyway, to be honest, but you can do it in your own beautiful style. Be bohemian if that's what you want to do, right? Another thing that can demonstrate that you're stepping out into the world boldly, you've got something to say, is to perhaps get involved in workshops or in a TED Talk. I mean, I know that in all the areas in the country and the world where they're having TED Talks and other kinds of, maybe that's not your thing, but you can actually, volunteer. I can talk about, this, or I can discuss this topic. And you can even do your own online workshops and offer, even for a price and make a bit of money. But, your information and your talent is valuable. So go out and flaunt it. Say you've got it. Here it is. So what would you like to hear? So I think that's another cool thing you can do is public speaking and sharing your stories. We are all storytellers. We've got a story to tell, and I think that's really cool that a lot of women are taking it seriously now and getting out there in the world and sharing their stories. Another thing that you can think about, another way to demonstrate, is in your dating habits. Now, people might say to me, dating habit, what's that? You know, I don't know if I've been on a date for years. I mean, literally years. But, you know, whether you're entering the dating scene after a divorce or just feeling like you need, you know, to get back into a conversation with someone else, like another person, man or woman, you know, that have a younger man in your life, perhaps. I mean, look at Cher. She's doing well. I know, before you start, she looks good. You got to admit it. I know, all the dots. But hey, it's just a comment. But the thing is, if you want to get involved in dating again, this is the time when the rules are changing. Okay, so you can get out there and do it. Another thing that you can demonstrate that you're pushing back on aging stereotypes is to say, I'm always learning. I have committed my life now to being a lifelong learner. I'm going to get out in the world. I'm going to learn. I'm going to go to the library. I'm going to go watch movies, documentaries. I'm talking too fast? I feel like I am, because there's so much to say. But the point here is that, you know, your commitment to being a lifelong learner is one that shows, you know, you're not stopping. And I guess along with that comes learning about technology. And I know a lot of you don't want to talk about AI, you don't want to talk about the developments in technology, but it's happening. And if you just keep an open mind, you don't have to adopt everything that you learn, but I think it's worth having a go. And if you are open-minded and you know, tech savvy, you can do things that maybe you didn't think you could. And there's a lot of opportunity. So I think I've covered a lot of things. I mean, I guess the final thing is that we're declaring that aging is not a statement of decline, but it's a statement of building and growth and expanding in the world. And if we can show that with our actions, you know, how we move, how we talk, how we dress, the conversations we have, that will demonstrate more and more to people that you know, we've got something to say and that we're not invisible. We're not. Well, you can be if you want to be. You can turn the switch on and off as far as I'm concerned. It's sometimes nice to be in the background watching things go crazy. But no, I think that's kind of my overview of the 10 things I think that you can, how you can demonstrate your pushing back on aging boxes. You know, you're stepping out of the box. So which one of those resonates with you the most? Which one of those 10 do you think, I'm doing that? I'm traveling. I'm opening a new business. I'm learning. I'm healthy. Which one do you think most represents your statement about being an older woman in this beautiful time? Come join us in our conversations. Always leave your comments below. I'm always happy to hear your points of view. In fact, I want to hear your points of view. But spread the word. Tell people about this channel. Like the video if you liked it, and leave a comment if you didn't. But know that I'm here for you. We're here for each other. And I'm taking care to make sure that we keep evolving. And I've got some things coming that are going to be very exciting on the communication front. And I just want to remind you that, you know, I'm always here growing, trying to meet your needs in those categories, you know, that we're not talking to the same women that we were 20 years ago, 10 years ago even. You're different. You're special. Okay, have a great day, everybody. I love you all. Take good care. Speak soon. Bye for now.